In recent years, ball-dominant players have had a prominent place in the NBA. Heavy isolations, high pick and rolls. It seems that several teams have adopted a style of play that allows their star to have the ball in their hands more than ever. And among those stars is Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is among the most polarizing players in the NBA. In just 5 seasons, Doncic has made 4 All-NBA teams, finished in the top 5 in MVP voting twice, and in the 2022 playoffs, he led the Mavericks to the Western Conference Finals. The numbers he has posted in his first 5 seasons are among the best the league has seen to start a player's career. Luka's play style is unique, averaging high points per game while nearing a triple-double, with assists and rebounds. Listed at 6'7", he seems to have some advantages over other players that put up similar numbers. But Doncic is not without weaknesses. He's been criticized for his defensive ability and effort, and on offense, some have described him as a ball hog. Going into the 2023-24 season, Luka Doncic is already among the betting favorites to win the Most Valuable Player award. Last year, Luka recorded per-game averages of 32.4 points, 8.6 rebounds, and 8 assists. And although the Mavs didn't make the playoffs, Doncic improved in overall field goal percentage and lowered his turnovers per game from the previous season. He also showed significant improvements in true shooting percentage, win shares, and box plus minus. Luka finished the season 2nd in points per game, 6th in assists per game, and his team relied heavily on him for wins. In games where he wasn't playing in the 2022-23 season, the Mavericks went 5-11. Luka has shown an ability to dominate games, but that dominance seems heavily predicated on a few factors. For one, Luka has the ball a lot. Excluding his rookie season, Doncic has been 1st or 2nd in usage rate in the league each year. Usage rate is a stat that estimates the percentage of team plays used by a player while he is on the floor, meaning that if a possession is ended by a player's shot attempt, drawn foul, or turnover, it will be included in that player's usage rate. While high usage rates are normal for many of the great players in the league, it seems more difficult for a team to win with such a ball-dominant leader. For example, in the 2022-23 season, Giannis Antetokounmpo led the league in usage rate with 38.8%. While Giannis's other numbers seem to justify that percentage, that number was significantly lower in 2021 when the Bucks won a championship at just 32.5%. Here's a chart displaying the highest usage rate of an individual player on a championship team. Next to that player is the league leader in usage rate for that season. In the past 10 seasons, the average usage rate for that championship player is 29.9%. Luka's career average is 35.6%, and if you exclude his rookie year, it jumps to 37% in the span of 4 seasons. The highest usage rate for a player that won a championship in NBA history was Michael Jordan in the 1992-1993 season at 34.7%. That year was of course the 3rd ring of MJ's first three-peat and was an increase from the 2 prior championship years. Jordan led the league in usage rate that year, but even his percentage is lower than Luka's career average. While high usage rate can be credited to several factors, one thing seems clear. League-leading usage rates don't often lead to championships, but they do lead to MVPs. In that same span of 10 seasons, besides one Nikola Jokic outlier season, the MVP has been awarded to players with usage rates in the top 10 of their respective years, 4 of those times being the actual league leader. So perhaps there's some hardware in number 77's future. But of course, the ultimate goal is to be a champion. And even champions like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant posted seasons with usage rates over 38% in their early years. Additionally, championships are won as a unit, and Doncic hasn't had a championship-level team. The closest Luka and the recent Mavs have gotten to the Larry O'Brien Trophy was the 2021-2022 season. That year, the Dallas Mavericks won 52 games and finished 4th in the Western Conference. The highlight of that postseason was the Mavs overcoming a 3-2 series deficit against the number 1 seed Phoenix Suns. For that series, Luka put up 32.6 points per game, 9.9 rebounds per game, 7 assists per game, and 2.1 steals per game over the course of the 7-game series. Luka and the Mavericks then lost to the soon-to-be champion Warriors in 5 games in the Western Conference Finals. That season was likely the best version of the Mavericks since Luka has been in the league. It included a breakout season from Jalen Brunson that led to his $100 million contract with the New York Knicks. But even though that team was good, it certainly lacked the depth that is found in championship-level rosters. Luka's style of play has often been compared to other ball-dominant players. Perhaps the player that popularized that style we see in today's game is James Harden. Both players are oversized for their point guard position and have thrived in isolation and pick-and-roll heavy offenses. Both Luka and Harden are elite-level scorers, and in James Harden's prime years, like Luka, he was often among the league leaders in usage rate. Harden made it to the Western Conference Championship with the Houston Rockets in the 2015 playoffs. That year, the Rockets finished third in the conference after a 56-win season, and Harden finished second in the MVP race. Similar to Luka's 2022 playoff run, the Rockets easily advanced past the first round, then won after 7 games in the second round, and lost to the soon-to-be champion Warriors in the conference finals. Both Harden and Doncic had excellent statistical regular seasons and similar results in the playoffs, and both players didn't have the depth of a championship-level team. The Rockets had Dwight Howard for some of the season, but injury kept him out of the playoffs, and with Howard out, Trevor Ariza was their second leading scorer with less than 13 points per game. Following the 2015 season, the Rockets tried to build a stronger team around Harden, eventually adding pieces like Chris Paul, Eric Gordon, and Clint Capella. And in the 2017-2018 season, Harden and the Rockets made it back to the Western Conference Finals. James Harden was awarded the MVP that season, and even with a league-leading usage rate of 36.1%, the Rockets finished with the first seed in the West that year. After winning 65 games, that team went 8-2 in the first 2 playoff rounds, easing their way back to the conference finals. There, they again matched up with the reigning champion Golden State Warriors. In that 7-game series, Harden recorded a usage rate of 37.4%, an increase from the regular season. So even with the ball dominance of Harden, the Rockets were the best team in the league for the regular season and were just 1 game away from competing in the NBA Finals. James Harden and Luka Doncic are of course different players, and the 2018 Rockets are much different from today's Mavericks. However, the success Harden and the Rockets had that season brings some room for optimism for Luka and the Mavericks. At the same time, the Rockets' failure to get over the hump that year leaves room for concern for Luka's current style of play. Maybe a different approach altogether is a better option. The Mavericks have been active this offseason, adding role player depth with Grant Williams, Derrick Jones Jr., and Seth Curry. But the headline surrounding the Mavericks summer is the re-signing of Kyrie Irving to a 3-year deal. Kyrie and Luka struggled together to end the 2022-23 season, and many have questioned their compatibility on the court. Both are ball-dominant players who like to score off the dribble. But Irving, of course, has playoff and championship experience, winning 1 ring in 2016 and competing in 3 total NBA Finals. On each of those 3 teams, Kyrie Irving was the clear number 2 to LeBron James. And in the 2016 playoffs, LeBron and Kyrie worked as a duo and performed at an all-time level. During that playoff run, LeBron recorded a usage rate of 30.7%, slightly lower than his career average, and Kyrie was at 29.5%. That balance led the Cavaliers to win a historic championship. Last season, Irving and Doncic played 16 total games together, with a losing record of 5-11. In their 11 losses, Doncic averaged a usage rate of 35.4%. Perhaps a more balanced version of the Luka-Kyrie duo could lead to a more successful version of the Mavericks. Is Luka Doncic capable of changing his style of play and ball dominance to be more similar to a 2016 LeBron James? That seems difficult. Luka plays as a point guard, and while LeBron often assumes that role on the court, he is also capable of playing off the ball as a forward. Can Luka win with his current style of play? Arguably, no one in NBA history has ever won a title playing like Luka. Do you think an MVP award is in Luka's future? Let us know what you think in the comments, and subscribe. Thanks for watching Basketball Pantheon.